Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Students, welcome to our virtual session of week 8 of System Analysis and Design. Please let me know if you can hear me properly. Please raise your hands if you can hear. Okay, thank you. Okay, students, in today's session, we are going to talk about design. So we are done with analysis phase, and I told you that in analysis phase we make logical models, and then we made data models. In our previous week we were talking about entity relationship diagrams. In our face-to-face class we had a revision session for midterm exams, and in today's sessions I am going to cover the contents which are given in our week 8 over the blackboard, and these are about design. So now we are moving from analysis to design phase, which is chapter 7 of your textbook, moving into design. Now, so far in analysis we have been talking about that what are the needs for what are the business needs, why we need to build the systems. And then we also talked about requirements, that how requirements should be collected, and then we studied the systems as that about like how what kind of functionality it is expected to deliver, and then what we made different diagrams like data flow diagrams, we made use case diagrams, and then we made entity relationship diagrams, that how data will be modeled in our systems. So we were seeing that like what are the business needs of our system, why we are building the systems, and how the system is going to work, and so these are the things we were studying. So, but when we move to the design phase, the purpose is to decide how to build a system. So far we have performed analysis, that what is needed, why it is needed, and then now we are going to decide about how we will be building the systems. We create system requirements that describe technical details about building the systems. Now, when you move to design, that the major activity in design phase is to have a set of analysis representation converted into design representation. Now, in a design phase, throughout the design phase, the project team decides and they works on that what are the things in the new systems which we are going to develop, and how the system will look like as a whole, and how the environmental factors in the existing organizations are going to affect them. So they work in this way. So although the analysis and planning phase both are performed to assess that how the new system is going to look, but when we make up a design, we come up a blueprint of a system that can be implemented. So from implementation point of view, we get a blueprint that this is the system which is going to work, and this is how the system will be working. Now, when you move towards design, then there are certain alternatives as well, like you can have multiple options with you as well. We'll be studying them in a short while. Like there are multiple options, like whether you should build a system from the scratch, or you should you should purchase a similar system and customize it, or you should outsource a part of it. So when you make a decision about how the system will be developed, then you decide that how much design activity you need to perform. So now the architectural design document is the final deliverable for the design phase, conveys exactly what the system the design team implements during the implementation phase. Now we transition from requirement to design phase, which influences the acquisition strategy, then in which we first select the design strategy, then we select the system acquisition strategy, This is getting repeated. Then we decide we develop an alternative matrix. So some of the points are getting repeated. Now there are certain classical mistakes which many people make when they are making design. So we have to be very careful about them. Like some classical design mistakes are reducing design time, feature creep, silver bullet syndrome, and switching tools in mid-project. So these are the classical design mistakes. Now, how can we say that, like, what these mistakes are and how they think? Like, in reducing design time, like if your time is short, you may be tempted to reduce the time in unproductive activities. Like you might be considering design as an unproductive activity, because you'll be saying that I don't have to deliver this design document to my customer. Why should I spend time on this exercise? So this happens. But you should. So this is a classical mistake which is done. So you sometimes be tempted to reduce the time spent in design, and you want your team to directly jump into programming. So this results in missing the important details about your systems, and which result in multiple problems later. Another mistake which you make in design is feature creep. So even if you are successful at avoiding scope creep, like you have not reduced design time, you are including all the features, then your system requirements in the design phase will change some up to some certain percentage. Like in the system analysis phase, you design your requirements and you model them. So when you are designing your system, some of the system requirements will change when you come to the design phase, and whenever the changes are there, changes come into the system, they increase the total time and cost of your project. So it is better that to include only the changes which are vital. Those should be incorporated, and the changes which are not vital, they should not be incorporated. So be careful, be watchful about feature creep. Then there is a you can say a problem which is called silver bullet syndrome. Now, the silver bullet is if you read a paper about no silver bullet written by F.P. Brooks way back in I think 1999 or 2000, in which maybe you have read it in software engineering as well, in which he said that there is no silver bullet in software engineering. So it's because the things are depending on a lot of things. Your software should conform to certain requirements. It is complex. So it is not possible to. There is no single thing which you do and it makes your work very efficient. Like building a software work efficient. So it says that there is no silver bullet in software engineering. So sometimes you may be thinking that there can be a tool which is going to solve all my problems and things like that. So you should be very realistic about it. That because the analysts sometimes think that the tools can design. There are certain design tools which can solve your problems, and your design can be automated. So, but remember that there is no such tool. So even if the tool developers of the tool or the marketing teams of that design tool are claiming that it will magically reduce your design time or claims in the same way, even then you should not believe, because it is not true that any design tool can reduce your time up to a large extent. So this is another design mistake. So you should spend sufficient time in design. Don't rely on tools. Then another classical design mistake is made is making switching among tools in the mid project. So sometimes they, like, if you are using a certain tool and you hear about another tool which you think is having a very good success stories, and the people are more inclined towards that, even then it is not recommended to switch to or upgrade to a new tool when you are in the middle of your project. So because whenever you will be incorporating a new tool, everybody will have to move to that, and it will result in schedule slip, right? Because your team will take time to learn the new tool, and they will take time to be familiarized with the new tool, and sometimes it may not be suitable for you. And even if you find that there is a tool which is very suitable for your type of design or your requirements, even then, if you are in the middle of your project, then it is not recommended to switch a tool. So these are some of the classical design mistakes made by designers which are recommended to avoid. Now, when you have to design your systems, first of all, your team has to think about what are the alternatives we have. So one thing they can go for is custom development, like start building your system from the scratch, like in-house development. Like you are going to develop it in your organization. So from the scratch. Then the second option can be to purchase a software package and customize it. Like you go for purchasing a package, and then you customize that package according to the needs of your customer and according to your requirements. And the third alternative is to outsource development to third party. Like instead of developing all the projects or the system on your own, sometimes you outsource a certain percentage of it, or sometimes you outsource it fully. So to outsource means to giving it to some other organization, like you're giving some certain components to some other organization who is specialized to do that, or whom you think they could do it better. So you can outsource it as well. Now let's talk about the pros. It means advantages, and cons. It means disadvantages of custom development. The pros of custom development are, because you are developing your project in-house, so you are very flexible. You are flexible in doing things as the way you want, and you can have creativity as well. You can introduce your own ideas. You can change it as you want. So there is a lot of flexibility and creativity. Then consistent with existing technology and standards. So since in your organization you are following certain technology and certain standards, so it will be consistent with them as well. Then builds technical skills and functional knowledge in-house. So your team will get, even if it is a new project or a new technology, your team will get an opportunity to learn the new technology and have more functional knowledge. So they will be groomed, they will be trained, their skills will be improved. So this is another advantage. Now, the cons of custom development. The disadvantages of custom development are, it requires significant time and effort, because you will be doing everything on your own, even if some things are done already. Some things are already available in the market. Some parts of it are already available in the market. But if you are going for custom development, then you have to develop from the scratch. So you have to make everything on your own. So sometimes you'll be inclined, like, why I'm developing this thing? This thing is already there, so why can't you purchase it? So, but this is the con. Now, may exacerbate existing backlogs. So, because your previous projects may be delayed, you may be having your backlog as well. So, this may be adding to that, and it may require missing skills, or the new system requires a skill which is not there with your team. So you may be having problem with getting that skill, or you may be you will have to get the person who is having skill in that height in your team, and often it costs most and often takes more calendar time. So there's another disadvantage is it takes time. So your duration of your project will be high, and there's a risk of project failure associated as well, because you are doing custom development, you are building things from the scratch. There are a possibility of some failure as well. So these are the cons. Now, if you go for packaged software, which are available for many common business needs, like if I say that I want a software for SEU, so there can be the similar one for which is like we are using right now, Blackboard Collaborate. So I want a similar tool. So if I look for it, there are many tools available over the web. If you search about packaged software, and even like you want there's a need for your in your organization. For example, you want some attendance management system. So there are many attendance management systems available out there. So because there are many common business needs, so you can go for packaged software as well. The advantage is that they are tested, proven, and your cost and time savings will be there as well. But the problem is that really a packaged software which is not designed for your organization perfectly fit with your business needs. Like you have your own set of requirements, so it will be difficult for you to search for a software with exactly the requirements you have in your mind. Maybe even if it is having all the requirements you want, it may be having certain extra requirements which are extra things which are not required. So you will be paying for them as well, or it may be like some of the requirements may not be there. So these are the disadvantages. Now, another thing is that the package software may allow for customization. So if they allow for customization, it means the things you require can be included, and the things you don't require can be excluded. But this requires manipulation of system parameters, and it means that you have to change way how feature works, or it means synchronizing with other application interfaces, because the tool will now be working in a different environment. So, but it will require whether the software is suitable for your organization, or you can go for it, and how much it is according to the requirements identified in analysis phase. You have to do workarounds. Now, building systems by combining packages, legacy systems, and custom pieces is called system integration. So even if you are going for packaged software, but you want your system in your own way, not in that packaged software, so you need to combine those packages. So maybe you are using multiple packages, so you need to combine those packages and those custom pieces to integrate, and you have to integrate them to deliver your complete system. Now, the third option is, which in design you can choose, is to outsource. Now, when I say outsource, it means you can hire an external vendor or external developer or external service provider to build that system for you, or maybe build the major modules for you, the major subcomponents of that system for you. It may reduce cost, or it may add value, but risks are associated with outsourcing. The most common risk is of losing confidential information, because your organization was given a project and you are provided certain information which you documented in your requirements. So when you will be sharing this with when you'll be outsourcing it, you'll be sharing it with others, and the confidentiality will no longer be there, and then losing control over future development. So now you had the full control on the system before, but now since you have outsourced it, so after outsourcing, you are giving control to someone else as well. So If you're outsourcing, it means that you have to depend on them as well, and you lose learning opportunities as well, because instead of getting those things developed by your own team, you have outsourced it. So your team will not be able to learn developing that. So this is a disadvantage. Now, when you may go for outsourcing contracts, there are certain things which you have to think about. These are time and arrangements, and then it should be fixed price, or it should be value added. So the different types of outsourcing contracts which you can make. Since wait for a second. Just wait for 2 minutes and I'll be back. Since I'm back. Okay, I was talking about outsourcing contracts. Yasmina, you said that there are some students cannot enter the class because of problem in the blackboard. Okay, maybe they are experiencing, but they can listen to the recording later, and they should email me about it as well, so that I can mark their attendance too. Okay, we were talking about outsourcing contracts. Now, when you decide that you have to outsource, you have to make others develop part of your project, then you have to make contracts with them. Now, 3 types of contracts are normally made. One is the time and arrangement contract, the other is fixed price contract, and the third one is value added contract. Now, if you are making time and arrangement contract with your outsourcing party, then it means like the contract is very flexible, and your company has to pay for whatever expenses and they are having. Like you have to pay for their even if it is taking longer time, so you have to pay for it. So, the possible disadvantage for time and arrangement contract is that you can have a very large bill, very huge bill, at the end of your project. Like if you are asking someone to do it for you and charge as much as is possible, take as much time as they can, so they are going to take maximum time, and they are going to cost you very high. So their bill will be very high. So this can be made, but sometimes you have to make this contract when you don't know, when you and your company and that company, both don't know about what is going to be done. Like what are the things which will be done to make the project complete. So in that cases you have to make time and arrangement contract. Another type of contract you make with outsourcers is fixed price, because you've set the fixed price, so this is the price I'm going to pay. So now in this price they have to develop a system in which it will be meeting their requirements. The third contract is a value added contract, in which what happens is that outsourcers reap a certain percentage of complete system benefits. Like they take some advance money and they start developing it, and after the completion of system, when the system is in place, they can get the full payment. So this is a value-added type of contract which you make. But having a fair contract is a very difficult task. Like having a fair contract in which everything is done on time and properly, and because you leave control of your project on those outsourcers, so you have to be careful about it. Now, when you are outsourcing your system, there are certain guidelines which you have to follow. Keep the lines of communication open between you and your outsourcer. Means make as frequent communication as possible, and so that you don't have any difficulty, or they don't complain later that you wanted to ask you but we couldn't ask. So define and stabilize requirements before signing a contract. Tell them clearly these are the things we want, and on this date, so everything should be clear. View the outsourcing relationship as a partnership. Select the vendor, developer, and service providers carefully. Assign a person to manage the relationship. This is also very important. Don't outsource what you don't understand. Emphasize flexible requirements, long-term relationships, and short-term contracts. So these are the guidelines for outsourcing which are given by people who are successful in doing it. Now, selecting a design strategy, consider each of the following when deciding around what strategy you are going to use. Like, see the business needs, see the in-house experience, like what is the experience of yours in a certain technology, in a certain type of project, similar type of projects previously. What are the skills your people have? What is how project management is being done, and what is the time frame? So after considering all these factors, you can select a design strategy. Then for system acquisition strategy, so now if you see this table on the top, you can see when to use custom development, when to use packed system, and when to use outsourcing. So you have three options, and for each three of these options, you can see here on the row side: business need, in-house experience, project skills, project management, and time frame. So when the business need is unique, in-house functional and technical experience is available, and there is a desire to build in-house skills, and the project has a highly skilled project manager and a proven methodology, the time frame is also flexible, then you should go for custom development. Then, if you think that the business needs is common, in-house functional experience exists, the skills are not strategic, the project has a project manager who can coordinate when there's effort, and the time frame is short, then you can go for package systems. And when the business need is not core of the business, in-house functional or technical experience does not exist, and the decision to outsource is a strategic decision, and the project has a highly skilled project manager at the level of organization that matches the scope of outsourcing deal, then and the time frame is even shorter, flexible, then you can go for outsourcing. So there are certain scenarios in which you have to make a decision about whether you have to outsource or not. Then selecting an acquisition strategy is also important, and if we talk about experience in the selection of acquisition strategy, if in-house or what is in-house experience? If in-house experience exists for all the functional and technical needs of the system, it will be easier to build a custom application. Whereas a package system may be better alternative for companies that do not have technical skills to build the desired systems. So in terms of in-house experience, these are the two options. And when you talk about project skills, so normally you apply technical or functional skills in projects. So you can have to decide about the strategy you are going to go for. Custom applications require excellent project management and a proven methodologies. So there are so many things, as you have already studied, that can push your project off track. So you have to watch all these things like funding obstacles, staffing, overly demanding business users. So you have to keep close eye on all of these things so that you do not get detracked. When time is a factor, the project team should probably start looking for a system that is already built and tested. So if the time is short, it is recommended not to go for custom development in which you will be building everything from the scratch. It is better to go for package systems. But if you have chosen custom development alternative and the time frame is short, then it is recommended to use techniques like time boxing. I told you time boxing previously as well. It is the technique with fixed deadlines. So you can select that one as well. So once the project team has a good understanding of how well each acquisition strategy fits with the project needs, it must begin to understand exactly how to implement these strategies. Another one helpful tool is the request for proposal, RFP, which is made. It's a document that solicits a formal proposal from a potential vendor, developer, or service provider. So you make a RFP. For smaller projects with smaller budget, request for information, RFI, may be sufficient as it is shorter or less detailed. Another document, the request for quote, may be used when the list of equipment is so complete that the vendor only needs to provide a price. So if you know that the list of equipments you require, then you can make a document like request for quote as well. Then once you have identified all the design alternatives and you have RFPs, RFIs, and you have request for quotes as well with you, then you have to make an alternative matrix. The matrix contains what tools and technologies are needed for a custom development projects, what vendors make products that address the project needs, what service providers would be able to build this application if outsourced. Then combine several feasibility analysis into one matrix. You include technical, budget, and organizational feasibility details. Assign weights to indicate the relative importance of the criteria, and assign scores to indicate how well the alternative meets the criteria. So this alternative matrix is very important to make. Now, how this alternative matrix look like? If you look at this closely, you will see that in this matrix, the evaluation criteria, technical issues, economic issues, organizational issues are mentioned. So this is only a part of this alternative matrix. Now, in the column side, relative importance, weight is mentioned. The alternative is mentioned like custom development using VB.NET, score, weighted score. And the second alternative, custom development using Java. Third alternative, custom package software, product ABC. Now you could keep all three alternatives over here and then give them certain weights, calculate their weightage, give them the certain score, calculate their weightages, and then write them in this way. Now, we are slightly in the design phase now. We are talking about how we'll be designing all the elements of the system. We are deciding about system acquisition strategy, that whether you should go for custom development, you should go purchase a software package or outsource it. And we are in the process of designing alternative metrics to structure the system acquisition decision. So based on these, we have to make a future decision like how much design we'll be making. So once we decide about the strategy, then we can talk about that like what is the part we have to develop, and for that we have to make the design. So these are the things which we have to do. Okay, students, now that's all from my end. Now I want to know if you have any question. you have any question about the content we have just studied today, or if you have any question about your midterm exam, you can ask me now. Please raise your hand or send me a message. Okay. Don't have question? Okay, students, I'm here till 6 p.m. So you can send me a message if you have any question, and I'll answer it over there. I'm turning my microphone off. Thank you very much.